Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to the Lotus Life podcast. I'm your host, Kim Fisher. And whether you're watching this on YouTube, watching the actual video, or listening to this audio via streaming the podcast, I want to sincerely thank you for being here. If you're a new listener, welcome. What's up? I hope that you like this podcast. Also, I don't care if you don't. And to those of you who are back and listen regularly, you're fucking awesome. And I love you. And I'm glad that we get each other. Okay, so diving into today's podcast, this is something that's top of mind for me, top of heart, and also something that I'm studying right now with one of my coaches, Victoria Washington. It is your voice. And this is a big one for me because what you guys probably don't know about me, maybe you've seen it before in some previous YouTube videos, maybe even online in Instagram, but something that happens for me physically sometimes when I speak is a reddening around my neck and my chest. And this is great because if you're watching this video, it actually might happen. It happens for a couple of reasons. One, if I have too much caffeine, and I'm going to be honest, I've been working all day. There's a huge push. I'm pushing myself to get a couple of deliverables out before the end of the week. And I drank a really delicious energy drink. It's called Dream Float Alani. I don't know. It's one of those natural, delicious energy drinks that tastes like an orange creamsicle. Yep, I went all in on that. Sometimes when I have a lot of stimulants, that will happen. But what's also happening for me is when I go to speak on a topic that I'm passionate about, there's risk involved there for me. And when it's risky, the mind will sometimes come down like kind of one of those claws in one of those stuffed animal machines, and it kind of tries to grab me out of the situation. And it goes, girl, we're under threat here. You're talking about something that's passionate for you. Some people may not get it. You might risk looking like a fool. You might risk looking too much or sounding too passionate. And so there's a moment where my brain and my nervous system collaborate behind the scenes against my will and shut me down. And one of the ways I shut down is sort of this over accentuation of blood. It rushes right to my throat. And it is sort of like, I don't know, an embarrassment of my body. Rather than it getting flushed in the cheeks, like some people get shy or embarrassed in the face, for some reason, I get embarrassed in my neck and throat. I don't know why. But part of this episode today is to be really fucking vulnerable with you guys and reveal a part of myself that is just, I don't like. But right there, that's the work. I don't like it because somewhere along the way, I picked up this stupid belief that it's wrong, that me getting redneck is wrong, that my body's response to life is wrong and incorrect and I need to fix it. And what happens is that actually creates more stress in my body because I believe it's wrong on something that I'm like fucking up in the moment. And therefore I hide, I start to shut down and I get even more in my head and I feel even more my redness because it actually feels like heat and swelling. And I get like worried about that. And the fact that I start to feel it makes it worse. I don't know if any of you have ever experienced this. I've looked it up, by the way, and there's a very small population, but a real population of people that actually experience this. So I'm here to talk about it. I'm here to declare that I get redneck. I'm on a journey of healing it, and this is what this podcast is about. So if that sounds fucking cool to you, great. If not, then see ya. Bye, Felicia. Yep, this is me on Energy Drink. All right. So, first of all, just thanks. Thanks for listening to this podcast. Thanks for holding this space for me to be vulnerable. Inside of my vulnerability, I aim to teach you something about voice work and owning your own unique instrument, which is inside of your body. And bless Victoria Washington. And thank you, the winds, for blowing her into my life. I needed this course. I wanted to be able to speak to you. I I know that I can speak well, but I feel and have felt like there's more to uncover. And I knew we would eventually get to me getting redneck, but I kind of was like, well, I'll learn all the other things, it'll just disappear. But I'm in this forum, this group with like 55 other women, and we get to go live. We get to practice our voice, and then people reflect back to us. I love this, but I'd love to see you go deeper here. And in the excitement of going live in front of a group of women who I don't know, I got redneck the other day. And it's confusing because it's like a really beautiful moment and I'm excited. So it seems like I shouldn't be nervous. But what happens in my excitement is a couple of things. I start to perform. And what that looks like for me is I get in my head. And I gotta think about the right things to say because I can't be wrong. Instead, what I want to practice and what I'm practicing right now in this very fucking moment for you and for me is feeling what I want to say. You guys, this is huge. We often think about what we want to say, but right now I'm sitting in a way. I'm sitting up tall. My belly is really soft. You can't see it right now, but my belly is super soft. I'm breathing as I speak. My voice register is lower. And if you're used to my voice, you might say it's always low, but like I'm really speaking from my center, my hara, my belly, my fire. Because actually, if I go up in register and I speak up here and I speak really fast, I'm actually carrying the energy up, which is right where my voice starts to get shrill. Actually, I'm going to try to do it right now. I'm going to do the thing I normally do, which is talk really fast, talk with my head, bring all of my blood and circulation up to my throat. Maybe even see this if you're watching the video. You'll see my shoulders just went up and like my register, my voice is up. And I'm really just bringing it up into my head, the headquarters, where honestly, I can't feel, I don't even want to do it. And I just had to slow down and breathe. Now I'm dropping back down. Here I go into my body. I'm slower. I'm breathing. My voice, like I even feel my glottis in my throat opens up a little bit more. And I sit, my voice is like sitting back in my throat. Not even just down, but back. So there's so much awareness that's happening for me right now. And I wonder, why do I rush? When did I learn that speaking slowly is dangerous? When did I learn that I had to be right all of the time? That the stakes were so high? Because when I rush, I'm responding to this belief that my passion is dangerous. I don't know if you can relate to that, but in my believing that I'm wrong before I even open my mouth, I then speak from this place of I need to be liked. I need to prove my point through my speech, and then I need to get it perfect. But that's a lot of pressure. How many times have you felt before you even open up your mouth that, man, I better get this right? And man, the stakes are so high, I need to be understood. What if that's not the case? What if the only thing that matters is that you transform through what you say? What if it doesn't matter what anyone else feels? Like, let's hope that what you say is so beautiful and transformative that it carries people through and into the same space and room as you, but it doesn't have to. What if in you arriving at the mic or whatever medium or room that you're speaking in was really about the power and transformation that you go through every time you open your mouth, because there's a vulnerability, there's a willingness to be seen, there's a willingness to hold right now, like I'm doing, all of the feelings of I might get rednecked, I might get nervous, I might be misunderstood, I might mess this up. But even with all of that, I'm still coming forward with the desire to, yeah, do a good job on this podcast for you, and be eloquent, and make sure that you have a good ride along with listening to or watching this. But I also really desire to feel it, because I know that you guys love the podcast where I'm deep in my feelings. And you give me permission to mess it up. But more often than not, I'm not giving myself permission to just be me. And in a new way, in another layer. I've been myself, but this is using the instrument of my vocalization, the instrument of my breath, actually. Using my breath, attaching words and meaning to my breath, and letting it come out in a way that transforms me. And my prayer and my intention is that when you hear my voice, when you hear these messages, that it also ushers you into a room of your transformation, not even my room. It can be your own transformation. And what does our relationship to others get to look like when that's the vehicle? When our voice becomes the vehicle that brings people into a deep intimacy with their own selves. That's what I'm trying to do with this podcast. That's what I'm trying to get across to you. That's what I desire to be in when I'm thinking about the relationship I want to have with you. The next layer is this layer of my presence, my voice. And so, what I want to offer to you and slide across the table to you right now is this. Before you open up your mouth, ask yourself, do I feel right or do I feel wrong? Am I making myself wrong before I even open up my mouth? Chances are, because I have been for a long time, you probably are too. And I had no idea I was doing that. I had no idea that I was like carrying this feeling of like, I'm already apologizing in some ways, if you guys can feel that. Like I'm already, whoops, I'm already in this state of like, well, what I'm about to say is probably not correct. And I felt it a lot actually in graduate school, because I was feeling the empowerment of my education and realizing for the first time ever just how like intelligent I am. And I say that without being boastful. I say it because I was on a path of just self-discovery and self-empowerment, coming out of the heels of a divorce, living in a new city. You guys know my story. This was the first time that I actually felt like, one, it really mattered. Education never mattered because my parents paid for it. Shout out to my parents. My associate's degree. And that was the first time I was ever really partying. So to me, college was just freedom. And those degrees barely happened, but they did. And actually, I wanted to drop out. My parents encouraged me to keep going, which was really awesome. But the decision to go back to school, I came with the story of I'm not good enough. So when I opened up my mouth in class, there it was. I'm not good enough, and I probably don't know this. I probably am not contributing the way that an expert would, so it's not good enough. I immediately set the stakes incredibly high. And so right now, like acutely right now in my life, I'm lowering the stakes and just allowing fun to enter the room, allowing this this ease of the moment to be here, and not make it about perfection or wowing you guys all the time. And really allowing my truest essence to be enough. And I guess I don't really know what my truest, I'm open to that. I haven't met her yet. And maybe she's been there all along, but the way in which I speak through her, I'm looking forward to hearing that new tone and transformation. Yeah, and you can see it if you're watching the video. I'm getting a little bit of redness in my neck now. But that's okay. It's not wrong. It feels really good to say it and really good to feel it because that's just my body's beautiful natural intelligence coming through when I'm passionate. Um, and I'm focused on the feeling. I'm focused on the feeling right now so that I don't miss it, so that I don't miss this opportunity to be a real human feeling, not just a human being, but a human feeling with you. And to model for you that it's not all perfect. If I look like I got my shit together to you, that's cool, but I don't. And if I look like I'm always confident, I'm not. And if I appear to you someone who's always ready, I'm not. I'm scared of new things and I'm a little bit terrified to step outside of my comfort zone. I know it's good for me, so I always take action. But there's still a sprinkle inside of me that's like, you might mess this up. And you need to make money and you might not be understood, and what if this post doesn't go viral, and what if people don't like this podcast and download it? There's still that. But where we get into trouble, where I get into trouble, is I label all those feelings wrong, in the way that which my energy shows up is wrong. But it's all just information. It's all just information moving through your nervous system. What if none of it was wrong? What if none of it was right? It's just information. So when we level the playing field like that, for me, other things get to step into the room, such as my pure presence and my willingness to heal myself through and empower myself through every word, and using my speeches can change the world. Think of the last time you read a powerful phrase or a sentence or heard a speech or read a quote or a poem and it changed your life. Poems do that all the time. Songs do that all the time. Speeches do that all the time. Dr. Martin Luther King, Maya Angelou, Tony Robbins, when he opens his mouth, sets the world on fire. Victoria Washington. These are individuals that I love listening to because they changed my life. And I recently read a quote just from John Rowe, who said, you head in the direction you face. That's it. You head in the direction you face, meaning pay attention to where you're paying attention because you're heading in that direction. Open your eyes. It was so simple. It was so eloquently said, so simple that words, it echoed to me that words really transform people. And I've been taking them too seriously because when I allow a softness and a playfulness to enter the room, there's actually more simplicity, and simplicity is impactful, way more than complicated shit. Complicated shit, too many words, you get lost. People don't want to interact. Potent simplicity is actually a byproduct of looseness, an ability to get it wrong, an ability to just be, an ability to let yourself be human and imperfect. It's the rigidity, it's the uptightness, it's the I got to get this perfect that actually forces us into a speed to catch up, to quickly hurry so that no one realizes we don't know what the hell we're doing. And in that speed, we get sloppy. In that speed, we put too many words in. In that speed, we make ourselves wrong. I hope this is landing. But we ease back, like I'm doing. We ease back into my body. I feel what I want to say. And I trust that however the words want to come out, they're correct. And it doesn't mean I'm going to say things that land all the time. It doesn't mean I'm going to be funny all the time. It doesn't mean I'm going to get it perfect. But it's transforming me because every time I open my mouth, I'm giving myself permission to be myself. And then once in a while, it connects. There's a simplicity. There's an elegance. You guys love it. And I'm like, great. It gave you something of value. But most importantly, I'm transforming. every time I open my mouth from here forward. And so I want to encourage you guys to take some deep breaths, slow down, see where you might be making yourself wrong before you even open up your mouth. See where you can invite some ease and simplicity into your speech. See where you can feel the bubbling up in your spirit, the energy, and let your mouth start to open. Literally part your mouth and breathe and see what wants to come out without you trying to make it perfect or huge or profound or trying to change the world. Maybe you can just change yourself. So there it is. Quick and sweet, but hopefully very impactful podcast. And thanks for letting me be vulnerable. Thanks for letting me show off my humanness to you. And I hope this gives you permission to do the same. I love you guys. Thanks so much for listening and watching, as always. And I will be with you next week.